For decades, the United States has held the military high ground, aircraft carriers slicing through oceans, stealth bombers crossing skies invisible, bases spanning every continent like a digital chessboard. But what if that dominance is no longer untouchable? What if new players, and/or old ones with new tricks, are closing in? This video is not about fantasy scenarios. It's not what-ifs or video game speculation. This is about real threats, real power, and real geopolitical shifts. These are the 10 military giants, some obvious, others shockingly subtle, that have what it takes to rattle, restrain, or even rewrite the American playbook. Some are allies, some are frenemies, some are unpredictable, and all of them matter. Let's dive in. Number 1. China. The dragon that woke up. China isn't preparing for a fight. It's preparing to win one. With the largest navy in the world and the most extensive missile arsenal in Asia, Beijing is no longer content with regional dominance. It wants strategic parity, if not supremacy. The South China Sea is now a fortress. Taiwan isn't a red line anymore. It's a countdown. Beijing's military strategy is called anti-access area denial. Translation? Keep the US military out of Asia permanently, and they're getting very, very good at it. Hypersonic missiles? Check. Quantum communication? In progress? Space warfare? You bet. But China's real weapon isn't firepower, it's long-term thinking. While US strategies shift every election, China's vision stretches decades, and every bullet, satellite, and submarine aligns with that vision. America's challenge isn't fighting China, it's understanding it before it's too late. Number 2. India, the two-faced giant. Publicly, India is a US partner, democratically aligned, a member of the Quad, even conducting joint naval drills. But scratch the surface and things get complicated. Fast. India buys Russian weapons like they're going out of style. S-400 missile systems, nuclear submarines, fighter jets. Not to mention a national defense doctrine that screams, strategic autonomy code for we don't take orders from Washington. Then there's the border tension with China. You'd think that makes India a natural US ally, right? Not quite. India plays both sides, keeping Beijing at arm's length without ever fully embracing the West. And here's the kicker. India has a massive, rapidly modernizing military. Over 1.4 million active personnel, a growing nuclear arsenal, ballistic missile capabilities that reach deep into Asia. The truth? India is a wild card. Friendly today, maybe, but bound by its own interests, not America's. And that makes it powerful and dangerous. Number 3. Russia, the master of chaos. Forget GDP, forget conventional metrics. Russia plays by different rules. The Russian military is a chaos engine, leaner than America's, but ruthlessly effective where it counts. From cyber attacks on US infrastructure to private military companies destabilizing Africa and the Middle East, Russia doesn't just fight wars. It manipulates the battlefield before a shot is fired. Yes, the war in Ukraine has drained resources and exposed weaknesses, but it's also hardened the Russian military. It now knows exactly how the West responds and how it doesn't. Moscow's nuclear doctrine is more aggressive than ever, flirting with escalate to de-escalate tactics. And let's not ignore the cyber war. While America sleeps, Russia is infiltrating, testing, waiting. The real threat? Not tanks, not missiles. It's the ability to keep the world spinning in confusion while Russia quietly rewires it. Number 4. Iran, the master of the strait. Iran doesn't need a $1 trillion defense budget to threaten US interests. It just needs geography and nerve. Sitting on the Strait of Hormuz, through which a fifth of the world's oil passes, Iran has the world's energy jugular in its grip. It doesn't have aircraft carriers, but it has fast boats, drones, and missiles that swarm like bees and strike with precision. And when Iran strikes, it doesn't always use its own flag. Instead, it deploys an invisible army, proxy militias from Lebanon to Yemen, armed to the teeth, trained for asymmetric warfare, and loyal to Tehran's agenda. Nuclear program? Still ticking. Sanctions? They've adapted. Regime change? Not happening anytime soon. Iran's strength lies in endurance, unpredictability, and the willingness to absorb pain and strike back harder. For the US, it's not just a regional irritant. It's a long-term strategic headache that refuses to go away. Number 5. North Korea. Nuclear blackmail. Welcome to the world's most dangerous bluff. North Korea has no real economy, few allies, and a military stuck in the 1980s. But it holds one of the most effective tools of global extortion: nuclear weapons, and the willingness to use them. Kim Jong-un's regime is erratic, theatrical, and brutally smart. Every missile launch isn't just a test. It's a message, a warning, a demand for attention, respect, or leverage in negotiations. And they've cracked the psychological code. As long as they stay unpredictable, they remain untouchable. Even the threat of collapse is dangerous. Millions of refugees, loose nukes, and a vacuum on China's border. No one wants that. So the world, including the US, tiptoes. North Korea isn't a military powerhouse, but in terms of strategic leverage, it's a masterclass in how to punch above your weight. Number 6. The European Union, the divided ally that refuses to fight. The EU has tanks, it has submarines, it even has fighter jets with better coffee than most US bases. But here's the problem: it doesn't have cohesion. Europe remains militarily fragmented. National interests override collective action. France wants autonomy. Germany hesitates. Poland prepares. And Brussels mostly writes white papers. The EU is supposed to be America's closest ally. But when push comes to shove, it dithers. NATO does the heavy lifting, and even then, it's mostly the US doing the lifting. But don't underestimate Europe. Its military industries are world-class, its budgets are growing. And if ever united, it would be a military behemoth. The threat isn't in tanks rolling toward Washington. It's in slow withdrawal, strategic distance, and refusal to act when America expects it most. When your best friend won't pick up the phone during a crisis, you've got a problem. Number 7. Saudi Arabia. The dagger in the back. Once the cornerstone of America's Middle East strategy, Saudi Arabia is no longer predictable and no longer loyal. Riyadh is buying Chinese weapons, investing in Russian oil, cozying up to Iran, playing all sides like a seasoned poker pro. Why? Because it's no longer afraid of choosing sides. It's rich enough, powerful enough, and independent enough to play the global game its own way. The US protected Saudi Arabia for decades. Now Saudi Arabia buys drones from China and sells oil in yuan. That's not a shift. That's a statement. Militarily, it's building rapidly. Advanced missiles, armed drones, cyber units, and a new defense doctrine that looks eastward, not westward. The kingdom won't invade the US, but it can reshape the entire Middle East in ways that undermine American influence. This isn't betrayal, it's evolution, and it hurts. Number 8. Japan. The technological partner that is distancing itself. Japan used to be the quiet partner, reliable, peaceful, and content under the US security umbrella. Not anymore. In response to China's aggression, Japan is rearming fast. Its new defense strategy allows for preemptive strikes. Its military budget has skyrocketed, and its industry is churning out missiles, stealth systems, and cyber capabilities with terrifying efficiency. But here's what's really changing. Japan is acting independently. Buying US weapons, yes, but also shaping its own doctrine, leading regional coalitions, and slowly preparing for a world where the US might not be there. It's not betrayal. It's contingency planning. If Japan ever feels it has to defend itself alone, it becomes not just a partner, but a competitor, and a technological one at that. The US may wake up one day and realize its strongest ally has become a strategic stranger. Number 9. Pakistan. The time bomb. Pakistan is not a superpower. It doesn't need to be. With a stockpile of over 150 nuclear warheads, a powerful intelligence service, and a military tightly intertwined with politics, Pakistan is one bad day away from becoming the world's biggest geopolitical nightmare. Its rivalry with India is nuclear. Its borders are unstable. Its economy teeters on the edge of collapse. And its internal politics? Volatile, populist, and easily influenced by extremist ideologies. America has worked with Pakistan for decades. with mixed results. Sometimes an ally, often a frustration, always unpredictable. The real danger lies in what happens if Pakistan implodes or chooses a radically different direction. Who gets the nukes? Who controls the army? Who fills the vacuum? This isn't a traditional threat. It's a strategic time bomb, ticking in real time. Number 10. American multinationals. Unwitting traitors? Wait. What? Yes, you heard right. One of the biggest military threats to the United States may come from inside, from its own global corporations. American multinationals outsource critical manufacturing to China, store sensitive data abroad, and often prioritize profit over national interest. From semiconductors to AI, biotech to cybersecurity, these companies are creating a world where America's enemies profit from its own innovation. Imagine this. US firms design the chips. China builds them. Iran hacks them. Russia replicates them. Who's really in control? And when geopolitical tensions rise, these corporations don't pick sides. They pick markets. The threat isn't intentional betrayal. It's global interdependence without strategic loyalty. In the next conflict, the question won't be who has the most missiles, but who controls the code that fires them. The US military is still the most powerful in the world, but power without awareness breeds complacency. And in a world of shifting alliances, rising multipolarity, and silent warfare, that complacency can be fatal. These 10 giants, some friends, some foes, all unpredictable, are shaping a world where American dominance is no longer guaranteed. The battlefield is evolving. Will the US evolve with it?